A beginner's guide to meditation. So there's probably a ton of you out there that are like catching on to this thing called meditation. You know, maybe you're starting to be a little more curious about yourself. Something in your life probably happened in some massive area, you know, whether it was your dating life, your relationship life, your business life, or even your health. And something made you slow down enough to stop and actually go inward. You know, even just for a few minutes, and you're like, man, what's going on here? Like, what are asking the deeper questions? Like, what does this mean? What is going on? Why is this happening? Or, man, this thing keeps happening to me. This has been like the second or third time. And what does that mean? So you're going inward. You have these questions. So meditation's simple. There's so many different types out there. It's how do you choose what is best for you depending on where you at on your journey. That's the point. You know, so there's different meditations. Some are to learn to calm your physiology down, you know, and those are just learning to detach your senses to your body. You're just breathing. So you can just focus on your breath, equal breaths in and out. And what starts to happen is your nervous system calms down to the point where your body relaxes. It's just like you're going to sleep, okay? But you're awake. And so when you actually do this, you're scientifically, it's been proven now, you're turning on the higher centers in your mind. You're also connecting your heart to your mind, which if you haven't checked this out, believe me when I say this, the heart is actually more powerful than the brain. And so when you actually leverage this in tandem with this, and this kind of becomes the external hard drive, if you will, of this, that's all that matters. There's a lot of magic and a lot more I can say on that, but let's just keep this simple. So that's one meditation. It's simple. Equal breaths in, equal breaths out. So if you do 4 seconds in, do 4 seconds out. If you do 5 seconds in, you know what to do out. Or 8 in, 8 out. Simple. And just do it even for 5 minutes. You'll notice a massive difference for yourself. Now, there's other meditations out there where you're given a mantra or some kind of vibe, or it's like something you say to yourself. Those are great because, frankly, it puts you in a trance, which trance state is good. For me personally, that's not what I prefer to do. I actually prefer being an entrepreneur, being someone who has done so much work on my mind, 10,000 hours myself of meditation, and doing things to self-examine myself, including hundreds of ayahuasca ceremonies. If you don't know what that is, take a look what that is, or comment in the questions below. I'll make sure we either include another video about this, or just Google it. It's pretty cool. You can Google. So, it's a practical meditation. You go inward, and you actually look at the narrative of your life. You look at the storyline of the movie of your life. You start to see yourself almost as if you're looking at yourself here. You got this, Mitch? Where you're starting to see yourself here. And you just see yourself playing out through your life. And you see the things you did, the things you thought, the things you enacted. You were an actor in the role of your life. So what the heck were you doing? Why were you doing things the way you did? And so when you start to see yourself here and actually replay those things, you're going to gain a lot of self-awareness about yourself. You're going to learn so much about yourself, how you're showing up, how you're not showing up, where you've given away your power, where you became a victim in areas, where you were a perpetrator in other areas. You're going to learn so much about yourself. And this, to me, is practical. The dudes that I'm working with, these multimillionaires, the self-made millionaires, they don't have time to do something that just, let me breathe in and out peace and love. Like, that's great, and there's a time and a place for that. But the simple fact of the matter is how do we shift these things as fast as possible in the mind? Do the work in the mind and do the work on the mind, where it immediately transcribes itself onto every other area of your life you're doing, whether it's your businesses, your relationships, your family life, your health, everything, all the above. So when you have this clearer, you start to have a deeper sense of who you are, and you have a deeper sense of clarity of thought. So when you're working through some kind of thing in your life that comes up, you have less going on in your mind. There's less mind chatter, less monkey mind. So you're going to know what to do. It's going to be simpler, it's going to be easier, and you're just going to know what to do because you see the answers so much more clearly. Now, the biggest issue why so many people struggle to know what to do in life is because they have a conflict in their mind. They have this massive duality going on in their mind. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this black? Is this white? Is this, yin? Is it yang? Like, what is it? And we're constantly judging and comparing all these things unconsciously. And when we give power to these thoughts, it takes over us and it debilitates us. And because we overthink, many of us do, and we give our power to our minds, we stop actually doing the things that we need to do. And it's pretty sad. So gain an awareness of yourself. Gain an awareness of your mind. And if you're the type of person who's massively, and I mean massively, into personal development, like I am, like I'm a total geek. I love that stuff. I've been working on myself now for 12 plus years, but honestly, it's probably been arguably lifetimes. Don't know if you believe in that stuff, doesn't matter. The point is, it's a long time. That 12 years has probably been the equivalent of, it feels like 30 plus 40 years. You know, I've done a lot of work. And I'm very grateful to have been able to do that work, but ultimately, doing all that work, I was looking for answers outside of myself. I was reading books. I was trying to understand what was going on here so I can understand what was going on here. The reality is, and this is the truth, when you're reading a book, of course the content is important, what you're trying to study or learn or understand, but what it's actually doing is it's the reflection of what you're getting out of the book, reading it, and what it does to you internally based off of where you are in your journey of your soul and of your mind and your heart. And so that's what elevates that your awareness, your consciousness. And so at the end of the day, one of the most potent and powerful ways to gain that awareness, to evolve at a very quick rate, is frankly just to go inward. Self-reflection is key. And meditation is, I haven't found anything more powerful. People journal, people write something down on a piece of paper and they burn it. All that stuff works, you know. And something interesting I found, when you believe, you let something go. And what we're talking about here is, you know, meditation. We're talking about, you know, why would you do something like that? It's usually to work through something in your mind, to let go of something, to get a deeper sense of who you are. Whatever the answers are, you know what those are for you. But the point is, you know, why do we do those things? It's to go inward and self-reflect. So at the end of the day, everything that we are typically, as society has trained us, mainstream society has trained us to, we're looking for answers outside, but they're all in here. Those answers outside are just giving us the answers that we already knew in here. So when you can go inward and do meditation, especially a practical meditation, and this, for me, I do every single day about an hour to 2 hours a day of a process I came up with called collapsing frames. And so I'm going through the narrative, the stories of my life, the emotions, the thoughts, the behaviors, to see what I did or what I didn't do. And how can I quickly evolve there? Because remember, when you shift the things in here in your mind, you change how you are all the time in this outer world, out here. Okay, it's pretty simple. So let me make it a little more tangible and ground this. So if you think of like shooting free throws, if you're a basketball player. So they've actually done studies. There was a focus group who they didn't practice any free throws. Then there was another group who actually practiced physically doing free throws and making them. And then there was a group who all they did was they just did introspection, you know, visualization, where they focused on shooting free throws in their mind and making them. And so I don't remember what the percentage was, but the bottom line is the ones who actually studied going inward, the ones who actually self-reflected and visualized themselves making the free throws, they had the biggest increase in success in the percentages of making their free throws. So it's the same thing. When you do the work in your mind, incredible things happen. So again, today was a quick little video, maybe not so quick, a video about the beginner's guide to meditation. Please just do something, but if you're looking for answers, again, this is the take-home message I want to give you besides the meditation. Do something where you're actually going to self-examine yourself, okay? Don't run from your situation. So if you're single and you're alone, or you just had a breakup and you're feeling lonely and you're like, oh my God, I need to find someone, I'm super lonely, you know, I gotta, you know, get at someone, whatever. Be honest with yourself, be wise. You know, there's a wise man and there's a foolish man. Which one are you? Are you looking for that relationship because you're already whole and you want to go be whole with someone else who's also whole? Or are you going empty, looking for them to fulfill themselves, or for yourself? And by the way, when you show up to a relationship dynamic and you're empty, you will inevitably attract in someone who is also empty, and that is, as you can imagine, a clusterfuck. So whether it's, you know, dating or relationships, stuff's going on in your relationship dynamic and you want to work through that, or even in your business. I can't tell you how many times, I mean, being an entrepreneur and running businesses and working with so many high-level people, if I'm not constantly doing work on my mind and getting clear on what is actually my voice, the other voices of the world, my mom, my dad, my family, my closest friends, media, you know, so you have to be really careful who you listen to all day, because, and even me, okay, so you're listening to me right now, take what hits you as true here and actually do something with it, but the rest, let it go, okay? Don't get stuck on, oh, well, this person is speaking truth, this one's not. Find what's true for you. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Self-reflection, going inward, finding your truth, doing something about it. So today, I give you the task of, what are you gonna do right now after you hit this video? Don't go to the next YouTube video to wander aimlessly until you end up, God knows where, in some black hole, and you don't even know. A few hours later, you're like, oh my God, how did I get here? I've done that before. Don't do that. Turn this video off right now and go inward, okay? Go meditate, go do something. Post your comments, your questions below. We'll see you guys in the next video.